for watching STL TV Live. We're back with Jenny Murphy from Perennial. I want to pick back up on the education work that you do, because I know what you work with children in schools and do workshops, but then you also work with women in transition, and I would like for you to explain a bit more about that to me.
Yeah, so our outreach programs, we specifically target women in transition. And it's kind of a broad term, but what we look for is agencies that work with women who are going through a personal transition, kind of a life transformation. So we work with the Center for Women in Transition. They work with former prisoners, so women who were recently incarcerated. We work with St. Patrick's Center, women who are either in their homeless shelter or are alumni of their homeless shelter, so now have homes. And then Lydia's House, which is a shelter for survivors of domestic violence. So we bring our programs to their clients and teach skills on how to reuse, and also just those basic skills to be more independent and be more resourceful. That's our large mission is to build a creative culture of sustainability, and teaching people those skills to make and see possibility in things that they would otherwise throw away is essential to that.
Right, because as we've been talking, it's like you feel wasteful if you're really conscious, of it. You sort of feel and conscientious. You feel wasteful when you are taking in more than you need, but it's like people don't always have the knowledge about what to do, how to repurpose, other than recycling. Put this out in recycling in your single stream. But now talk about then with the children. You work with kids of all ages, is that correct? In different organizations?
We will partner, we bring our programs to anyone. So when people reach out to us who are interested in having us come and do workshops, we've worked with high schools before. And then this summer we're hoping to release a few more classes for kids at our shop as well to engage the younger set. But a lot of our programming right now is geared towards adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I come, and then now we've kind of covered the education sort of sector and then the retail and the social enterprise. If I were to come to your studio, to your spot, what would I find there?
So our retail kind of ebbs and flows depending on what we have come in, what we're building, but we release a line of small home goods every season. So right now we're building our inventory for spring, and so we choose items to create. They're all from reclaimed materials, and we also think about, what could someone use that would allow them to live more sustainably. So this spring we're designing a herb drying rack with the idea that, if someone buys this rack, they're also going to be growing their own herbs. So to encourage those kinds of practices at home as well. And then we also sell some of the supplies that we use in our shop. So we use all environmentally sensitive materials. So things like milk paint, biodegradable paint stripper, those DIY supplies are also available down at the shop.
And I feel art is something we've probably overlooked, and your projects would you say that they all have some sort of element of the arts involved in them?
Yeah, I think that what we teach, we look at this spectrum, and one side is the creative kind of art side, and one side is the skills. And our different classes kind of fall on varying sides of that spectrum, but we try to always incorporate at least the creative brainstorming process comes into play, where you have to problem solve. You have to think about, okay, I have this, what could I turn it into? How could I create something new or use it for something else? And
working with the different, with all the different groups of people that you work with, what do you feel like you hear the most? I had no idea how this works. What do you feel you hear the most over time in terms of repurposing or upcycling, just in general?
I think when we introduce people to the types of projects we do, I feel like there's always this element of surprise. Or I think what I get most excited about is when I feel like I'm doing a magic trick almost, like taking a material, like we'll use t-shirts for things and we'll cut them into strips. And when you pull the strips, it makes this really beautiful cord. And so just showing people how you can transform material like that, there's always this kind of reaction, and seeing people, inspired that way, that they didn't expect that or they hadn't thought of that before, I think is what is always really inspiring.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. It's kind of like the 9 lives of a piece of fabric or an object. You just don't know until you try to do something differently with it. But that's really interesting. Well, if you want more information, we've got that information for you on the screen for Perennial. You can go to their website and check it out. They do a ton of cool things. And again, there it is, perennialstl.org. Workshops, classes, the retail side, go in and buy something, but really cool and interesting stuff going on over there. So again, head to the website and learn more about Perennial. And Jenny, thank you again for being here.
Having me.
All right. Well, if you're feeling artsy after this discussion, then you're in luck, because St. Louis's largest indie arts and crafts show is this weekend. We've got all the details coming up right after this break.